meant for Gaya sa pelikula, sobrang bilis pumapasok nung mga, ito, gusto ko ganito eksena. Alam mo yun, parang hindi ko pinipilit si Gege na parang, sumulat ka ng eksena para sumakto siya sa treatment. Kasi ganun kaswabe yung pagkakasulat ng script ng Gaya sa pelikula na ang bilis kong nakakaisip ng anong magandang director's treatment for this one. Ayun.
Thank you, JP. Last na lang for Ian and Paolo. Because you haven't mentioned if you guys were handpicked or auditioned for the role. And if you did, from what I heard, only one of you has acting experience. Then the other one has 0 experience in acting. So paano yon na hinon, paano winorkshop, paano sinwak? Was there a sensual workshop? Was there a chemistry workshop between the two? Go ahead, Ian.
I think for the casting process, baka better if si Gege yung magsalita about it.
But did you audition for the role?
Yes.
Okay. Paolo, did you audition also for the role?
Oh, hi, MJ. It's nice to see you again. Yeah, I auditioned for the role. Parang they had these forms online that that linked to a drive where we could send the tapes, and it also had these instructions and then the scenes and then the script. So it was a whole process of auditioning. We had to go back, I think thrice for us before we had to go back twice. So it was 3 times that they saw us before they thought that, hey, they're locked in already.
So you wanted to do this?
Yes, I'm the one who did not have acting experience. The only ones you see me were one out there of our one-liners, me just opening the door, and the other is just 10 seconds where I was wearing a face mask. So that barely counts as acting experience, and I really did not consider myself as a legitimate actor prior to this. With the workshops, we had, I don't know if you call it chemistry workshops, but then I heard the term Stanislavski being dropped around all the time while so maybe that was it. So that was just basically, but you mentioned earlier then warming up. So, or did you actually mention warming up?
Parang ganon, parang getting the rapport, chemistry.
Getting the rapport, the chemistry. Yes, we had a lot of that. I think because the goal of the series is obviously naman to make people feel na kilig, diba? Because it doesn't have a translation, right? So yun. So we had a lot of those, and we also spent a lot of time together in the same space, so that we could easily get triggers for when Karl and Vlad would experience a lot of things, such as annoyance, trying to patience, and then just trying to work through the menial tasks of the day. So yes, we did have a lot of that. And the process was especially, for me, it was something new that I didn't experience then. As you would probably know, that I was then a gymnast, a cheerleader, so everything was just following a strict set of rules that were already in a textbook or already in a code of points, or diba, it's already out there and it's very performative. Whereas here, one of the misconceptions that I had with acting was that it was very performative. It was you showcasing something through the world, and then any time that I did that, or I had that in mind before the camera started rolling, it only ended up failing me, that that thing in my mind. So these workshops, I think ultimately what they done for me is to make myself become more empathic, to listen, and to just
connect with your co-actor.
No, it's more of like being able to just simply put yourself in another person's shoes, and just be able to be there in that moment.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck. Passing it on to the next person. Maraming salamat. Good luck. Can't wait to see your show on Friday. Thank you. Back to you, Von.
Thank you, MJ. Maraming salamat. And at this point, ready na nga si Mrs. Biokrata na, si Bix. Hi, Bix. Thank you so much for
Hi, Von!
Hi! Sige, kanina.
Hi! Nadidinig niyo ako?
Yes, naririnig ka namin.
Yes. Ano nga ako kasi kay Juan Miguel, may tanong ako about for Juan Miguel. May mga fans kasi na sinasabi na parang kahalintulad daw sa Theory of Love, itong BL series na gaya sa pelikula. Ano masasabi mo doon?
Hindi. Malayo. Una sa lahat, sa Theory of Love, films, yes, ang pagkakapareho lang actually dito
Films,
ay, ang pagkakapareho
May mga
lang
pelikula.
ay yung posters. Kasi ginawa talaga ito ng Theory of Love. Pero bukod kasi sa references sa local series, bilang fan ako ng Thai BLs, meron din kaming references talaga sa ilang Thai BLs na favorite namin. Especially our production designer is also a Babi or yung fandom ng Theory of Love. Ano. But bukod dun sa elemento ng film, ang layo-layo niya. Kasi if you watch Theory of Love, you'd know na Theory of Love is a story about two best friends, tapos yung isa may unrequited love for the other. Ito is about two strangers who are forced to cohabitate. So, it's very different po.
When it comes to kilig, nangingialam ka ba dun sa mga kilig scenes ni na Ian at Paolo?
Pakialamero po ako, opo. Diba?
At least gusto ko, maganda nga yun eh. Kasi gusto mo yung best para sa series.
Hindi, tsaka po kasi po, as you know, parang actor din po ako. Tapos, dahil po nagkaroon ng MECQ, in the middle of, parang before kami mag-shoot, may nagka-MECQ, hindi kami pwede biglang mag-workshop. So, ang ginawa ko, ay pinatira ko po yung dalawang yan sa bahay ko for the entire time na MECQ. Tapos sa bahay ko sila nag-workshop. Tapos, dahil forced cohabitation yung setting nung palabas, sila mismo dalawa, sila yung naghahanda ng pagkain nila, silang dalawa yung nagluluto para sa isa't isa. Si Ian magaling, si Paolo magaling maghugas ng pinggan. Love you, Pao. Ayun, tas basta ganun. So parang ang nangyari tuloy ay bukod sa writer, parang naging ako yung sort of acting coach na rin pagdating sa set. Kasi ako yung nakabantay, ako yung tanging nakabantay dun sa journey nila into finding the characters. So yun. Kaya po ako medyo pakialamero sa set. Yes. Pero nagpapaalam naman ako kay Direct JP bago ako makialam.
Yes, okay. Pero para kala Ian naman at kay Paolo.
Yes.
How do you respond sa mga homophobic joke?
Where are we? I'm sorry, I can't find. I'm still looking for.
Hi!
Hi, Bix. Nandito si Bix sa baba.
Yeah, Alex, hi, Vic.
Hi! So how do you ayun, nakalimutan ko tuloy.
You respond to
Sa mga homophobic joke.
phobic joke.
Sa mga friends na binibiro or sa mga sa mga kapwa LGBT members.
It's been so long since I heard one because my friends
Actually, parang throughout the entire process, it's been like
probably online, but not with my friends. I'm still trying. Sorry, I'll try to remember the last time I heard a homophobic joke from one of my friends, from any of my friends.
I mean, siguro for me, like initial.
Pero if someone na parang may nagbiro, anong magiging respond mo doon?
Well, ako parang, why would you make fun of somebody who just wants to love? Alam mo yun? Parang, like, as overused as the phrase is, like, love is love is love is love. And parang, for you to judge somebody because he wants to do something as pure and as kind as loving, I think that speaks more about you than it does about the other person.
How about you, Paolo?
Well, for me, it differs talaga on who says it. If it's someone who I know is not privileged enough to, or has been, not been able to acquire information, diba, regarding on how to treat other people. Kunwari, as in, if someone, for example, someone, who has not been able to, who has not had the privilege to educate themselves about the plight of, as obvious as it may seem, then my first instinct is to educate. But if it's someone who's obviously had the privilege, the money, the education to, if it's someone who has used his the heteronormative patriarchal society to get to that place, then of course, then I would let the person know that, really be. To really be as aggressive as I can, to know that to give a message that that's not okay. But if it's someone that who, you know, who's not as educated as, you know, it's hard for me to talk about it. Kasi you really have to, your first instinct is always supposed to be kindness in any situation. So I try to balance it with trying to understand where that person is coming from. Does that person, not know, or parang I just, yeah. So it's still hard for me to process what I'm going to say if I'm going to be honest. But if were a friend of mine, then I would be angry. I would tell him that it hurt, and I would tell him or her that whatever, if you see me as an equal, diba? If you see me as an equal, if you see all human lives are equal, then there's no reason, there is no justifiable, diba? There's no justifiable headspace to think that that is okay. So yun. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you so much and good luck sa series.
Thank you rin, Bex Biokrata na. Maraming salamat for asking.
Ang kapilido ko pala si Karl, Almacen.
Oo. Ano apelido niya?
Almacen. Doon yung character.
Hindi kasi Almacen ang apelido mo ngayon.
Ay nako, Bex, wag mo ako agawan kay Tita Juan.
Puro kayo.
Wala na, nandito na si name ko.
Alright,
thank you guys.
Maraming salamat for your questions. Of course, the next set of questions will come from, dito naman tayo sa Random Republica kay Kate Adahar. Hi, Kate.
Hi guys. My question is for Ian and Paolo. Kasi it's safe to say na you got time to get to know each other, diba, better. What qualities of the other person make him attractive? Or parang ano yung qualities na that make the other person crush-worthy? Parang ganun.
Nick, ang question mo ba ay in character or
real life? Kasi
real life? Definitely ang masasabi ko, I already know right away, is si Pao. Sobrang palaban niya. And I mean that in the best way possible. As in, isipin mo, parang first time niya experiencing a lot of things, first time niya to be told na what he's doing is not correct. Ganyan. Kasi si Pao, ang tali-talino niyan. As in, like, top-notcher in like so many things, tas loud eh. So parang like, you'd expect na somebody who's used to that kind of success, parang titiklop at the first sight of failure. Pero siya, like, laban kung laban, like, kahit sobrang hirap siya on set, sobrang lumalaban siya, and like, he picks up really fast. And for me, seeing, yun nga, parang in his first apparent role, like, to me, that is like really amazing. I was like, go Pao! Go Pao! Like, supporting you. Yeah.
Thanks, Paolo.
That's a lot for a question of what do you find attractive, no? So hi, Miss Kate. Well, what do I find attractive? Well, it's not just one thing. I think it's like a constellation of a lot of little things that make up a person. Like, I find you attractive because you seem pleasant, you seem approachable, you're well groomed, and you speak in a very, kind manner. So this is not in character, no? So how do I answer this question?
Bakit daw siya crushable?
Ian, we're talking about Ian. Okay.
Yeah.
Si Ian.
Okay. Hello. Naubusan na sasabihin. Hindi, for me, initially kasi, as in yung first impression ko pa lang kay Ian, I was already like, oh my God, ang pogi niya. As in Zoom call, auditions, like, oh my God, ang pogi niya. I'm trying to figure out why. Well, may tassel yung cortina niya. Hala, mayaman. Gold digger pala. Joke lang. Well, yeah, for the same reasons that I find you attractive, Miss Kate. Yeah, you seem approachable, kind, and then he was able to carry a conversation. So yun, I found
Thank you. Congratulations. And for Juan Miguel, a question lang. Kasi when this whole BL craze started months ago, there was that argument na BL series should not be labeled as gay series. What's your take on that?
Oh, this requires a dissertation paper. Pero, in short, okay, I believe that every genre starts employing certain oppressive and problematic elements. But but every genre also undergoes revisionism. Genres, not history. It's very important na mag-revise some genres the moment that they start oppressing, they start peddling oppressive, oppressive status quo. For example, in the case of BL, this is, I mean no disrespect, by the way, sa mga female writers ng BL, na parang some people are saying kasi na parang this cannot be BL because it's written by a gay man. So ako, parang if you don't want to call it BL, then okay, I'm not going to call it BL, I'm going to call it a romantic comedy. Pero, sa akin is, parang, I think we should be open sa mga klase ng revisions na pwedeng pagdaanan ng isang genre. Kasi, for example, dito sa BL, ang naging problematic kasi before na recurring na element sa mga BL ay kapag sinabi ng isang lalaki na I don't like men, I just like him, meaning hindi ako bakla, exception lang siya, which may be true for some people, but kapag inulit siya ng inulit, may nangyayaring erasure of the queer identity of being gay. So yun yung ano lang na parang I think since tawag dito, Karen, take back our own story. Sorry paulit-ulit na lang ako sa tagline namin. Pero yeah, I think it's about time na marinig natin yung mga bakla. Kahit alam nyo kung kahit ano pa yung itawag ng label sa kanila. As for me, it doesn't matter kung tawagin nyo itong BL or hindi. Ang importante sa akin ay mas maraming bakla ang makapagkwento ng kwento ng mga bakla. And that goes for lesbians too, for people of trans and femme experiences. They should all be allowed to tell their own stories.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck. Thanks, Von.
Thank you so much. Maraming salamat, Kate Adahar. Next naman ay si Amanda Lago of Rappler. Hi, Amanda.
Hi guys. So my question is for JP and Gege. This was, or actually also Paolo and Ian. This was filmed in quarantine. What were the challenges of filming while in quarantine, and were there any scenes that you envisioned differently and that you had to let go of because of the limitations?
JP, you take this one na. JP, sabi ko ikaw na. Sumagot.
Direct?
Okay. Sige. Wala, naghang yata si JP. So, andang dito, definitely there were adjustments in the script because of the quarantine, but I think the entire team would agree na we were able to take the challenge, and the thing kasi about restrictions sometimes the thing about restrictions sometimes ay pinipuwersa kanya na lalong maging mas malikhain. And I'd like to think na gano'n naman yung nangyari sa amin ng creative team, na we were able to improvise, we were able to come up with things that we wouldn't have come up with kung sakaling mas malaya kami. So, ayun yung sagot ko ron sa isa. Pagdating sa and definitely, dito, kudos talaga sa team namin for following the strict rules na Inter-Guild Alliance, in making sure na everyone was safe and everyone was tested before and after the shoot. And siguro kung yung challenges na lang pagdating doon sa performance itself Ayun, iwan ko na yun sa kay Paolo at sa kay Ian. Kumusta yun, Ian? Sa'yo, yung mag-shoot, mag-rehearse ng naka-face shield at face mask.
Yeah, I mean, like, definitely yun yung, like, one of the big challenges for me. Kasi, like, as an actor, you sort of had to feel everything that's on set. Parang, sorry, this is medyo technical, but, like, endow the space na parang, as much as it's a set, it's also, like, as a character kasi, dito ka nakatira. Tapos parang, may face shield ka, tapos may face mask, tapos hindi ka parang, alam mo yun, hindi ka pretend na this is real, if that makes sense. So that's like one of the big things, which is why actually, like, hangang-hanga ako to some of the formats na ginagawa ng mga BLs right now. For example, Game Boys or like Hello Stranger, na through Zoom yung interaction nila. Parang, like, I can imagine how hard it is to interact with like face shields and face masks. What more through a screen lang, diba? So yun yung number one thing talaga for me as an actor na like I super had to deal with in quarantine. How about you, Pao?
Yeah. Well, I share a lot of the sentiments that Ian's just expressed. Pero for me, yung working in the pandemic for me there was just no way that I couldn't accept it, because a lot of people, if you look at the rates, unemployment rates, they're skyrocketing, and then so many people have lost their jobs. And so for me, and this question was actually asked din sa akin, and I maintain my response na parang I find it a travesty to not work when so many people have lost their jobs, and this was an opportunity that I thought was at the right time. Like, look at the political climate, the conversations that are being started, the Academy Awards, diba? Yung institutional, yung Oscars, diba? They just released just this standards on representation and all that. So, and the number of BLs that have just been released. So for me, naging malaki talaga siyang driving force for me to pursue this project, considering that I have med school, right? That I was so unsure of whether classes were, diba? Whether I would have classes, let alone or how, diba? How they'd be conducted. So for me, this really just lit a fire under my toot, to really just give it my all. The face mask, the face shields, the protocols, they're nothing compared to the message that we want people to receive. So yeah, it was a lot of hard work, kasi syempre you have to help in a lot of ways because the production is limited, and then you have a 65-page protocol to follow, and there are safety officers checking your every move. Aside from the financial burden, it's placed upon the production, the cast, the set, the crew, and upon us. So for me, working in the pandemic was a unique situation in that it was such a strong motivator if you want to spread the message to everyone that you believe the time is right. When you believe the time is right. So,
Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thank
Thank you so much. Pero I'd like to throw the same question then kay Adrian. Adrian, similar din ba yung experience mo kina Pao and kina Ian?
Yes? Hi, sorry. Hello po.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, actually, never akong lumabas ng bahay since March. Since sinat yung lockdown. And I remember I was really, really scared talaga to go out. At the same time, sobrang gutom na rin akong umarte. Like, so ilang buwan din na bakante in terms of acting. Pero kasi very amazing team ang Gaya sa Pelikula, kasi kami, we did seminar pa, tapos they assured us, okay, as in talaga nasunod lahat. May funny thing lang na nangyari nung isang eksena, nakalimutan. Ang sobrang sobrang supposedly dramatic yung eksena at very heavy na. Pang na siya pang episode, ano ba yan? Pang episode 7, ganyan. Oo, yan. Tapos okay na, nagsa-start na si Ian, si Paolo. Tapos yun, biglang cut. Naka-face shield. Nalimutan kong tanggalin. So yung mga sorry, hindi ko makalimutan yun. Maraming ganong instances na akala mo nasanay ka na. Tapos, sorry, ayun. Maraming ang daming adjustment, ang daming nakakapanibago siya. Tapos, nakakapanibago din na may makasama kang maraming tao na dati nasa loob ka lang ng bahay. Pero, ayun. Salamat salamat din sa care ng buong team, ng buong production. At very apparent yung care na yon mula sa pagsulat, sa food, lahat. At yon naalagaan lahat at ramdam ang pagmamahal. Ayun po.
Nakakatawa marinig yung mga ganyang kwento yan, no? Yung mga nakalimutan yung face shield. Gusto namin malaman pa kung ano pa yung mga experience na yan sa mga naging shooting ninyo. Pero meron lang tayong question for you again sa chatline. Sabi dito, based on the trailer, is it right to assume that your character will be a supporter of the characters of Karl and Vlad?
Definitely super. Super yung support. Pero hanggang doon lang masasabi ko.
Yes, hanggang doon muna tayo. Ayan, maraming ngayon. And of course,
parang delikado.
and ang next set of questions will come from RJ Matero. Hi, RJ.
Hello po. Congratulations po sa casting crew ng Gaya sa Pelikula. My first question po is for Miss Adrian. On the trailer po kasi meron po kayong line na parang you're telling someone that they're valid. Have you ever had an experience in real life when you had to support someone by telling that they are valid?
Definitely.
It's a valid question.
It's a valid question. And yes, you are valid. Thank you, Audrey. I've been raised by a bisexual mom. My mom has a life partner for almost 30 years now. So, yes. Parang, in a way, normal siya sa akin. Normal akong lumaki. Even though, lumaki din ako sa exclusive school nung grade school. And, in a way, parang naging ko na rin since bata na lagi kong sinasabihin ng mga friends ko na okay lang, kung if you need, kung gusto nyo ng kausap, kung gusto nyo ng kwento, go. Ano na lang sa akin. Pero, ang parang buong buhay ko rin, lalo na, kasi ang field ko ay theater. So, mga kasama ko syempre sa teatro, sa pelikula, even sa TV. I'm surrounded with wonderful people. At yon, parang constant na rin yung pakikipaglaban for them. At maraming storya, maraming mga kwento, at marami pang na hindi pa ready ilabas yung kwento na yon. Pero yon, sobrang laking karangalan na masama dito sa Gaya sa Pelikula. Especially with my role dun sa character. Naalala ko, nag-PPM ako kay Gege kasi kahit ako bigla akong napatanong sa, yung sarili kong value system, ano yung mga pinapahalagahan. At hanggang saan, ang hirap! Hirap hindi mag-spoil. So, yun, basta. Pero, yes, it's about time. Actually, umiyak ako kanina nung nilabas yung Globe Studios yung mga sunod-sunod na reactors dun sa You Are Valid, I Am Valid. Na parang ang laking bagay nito for everyone. At alam mo yung feeling na ma-validate in a matter of seconds lang. It's such a big deal. At malaki rin siyang responsibility. Pero yon ang isang sarap. Ayun. Walang room for hate, walang room for discrimination. Kasi posible ang pag-ibig para sa lahat.
Okay po.
Ano ko sinabi? Sorry.
Well, thank you po, Miss Adrian. Yung susunod ko pong question is for Sir Gege po about dun sa pag-create niya ng story. Ngayon, I understand po na yung purpose po ng series nito is to create a sense of normalcy dun sa queer experience. Ngayon, how do you think po na creating a sense of normalcy for the queer experience help improve the representation of LGBTQ characters in TV and film?
May gusto ako sabihin na isang quote from Disclosure from this documentary na pinanood namin before all this started. Na parang the goal here is for there to be as many queer stories as possible out there so that kung meron mang mga problematic na representation ng queer people on screen, masyado ng maraming tama para mag-matter pa sila. Kasi sa ngayon, yung mga representation ng bading, at least prior to the surge of BLs, in the Philippines, parang kulang eh. Sobrang kulang niya. Kaya, I guess, kaya yun yung importansya niya. Kaya, okay yung surge ng dami ng mga queer content ngayon. Dahil, the more that you see two men loving each other, the more that you see queer people out there, mas mababawasan yung takot sa kanila, yung pagkamuhi sa kanila, dahil makikita lang sila na normal. For example, ito example. Meron akong pamangkin, 2 years old. Ang boyfriend ko tsaka ako ay 5 years na magkasama. So, ibig sabihin, pinanganak ng pamangkin ko na to, kami na. Tapos, mahilig siyang buksan at patayin ng electric fan para sa pamilya, para sa mga magulang niya. Nung nakita niya kami dalawa ng boyfriend ko na kumakain ng sabay, tinanong niya, nasan yung anak niyo? Sino magbubukas at patay ng electric fan para sa amin? Siyempre, hindi ganun katatas, 2 years old siya eh. Pero sabi niya ganun, saan yung anak niyo, Tito Gege? Saan baby niyo? Sino magbubukas ng fan? Ayun. Ang ibig kong sabihin, ang hate, ang prejudice, yun ang natututuhan. Natututuhan natin yun, yung panghuhusga habang lumalaki tayo. At lipunan ang nagtuturo nun sa atin. Dahil yung pag-ibig, yun yung mas natural. Ngayon, kung mas makikita ng mga tao na natural lang, itong mga pag-ibig na to, at normal naman talaga ang pag-ibig na to, hindi na kakailanganin pa yung balang araw na may mag-come out pa. Bakit ko kailangan sabihin pa sa'yo na bakla ako? Eh, yung mga straight naman, hindi naman sa'yo sina-announce na straight sila. Kapag dumating yung araw na yun, at yun yung gusto nating puntahan, doon natin masasabi na mas nagtagumpay na tayo. And bilang content creator, bilang practitioner, media practitioner, it is also our duty na hindi lang ipakita sa daigdig kung ano yung katotohanan, how things are, but also how things should be. And queer love should be deemed as valid as heterosexual love. Because it is. Ayun lang po.
Okay. Thank you po. Last question po for Ian and Paolo. How do you think po yung characters nyo would help those youths na currently questioning their sexuality come to term with what they're feeling and what the society tells them to feel?
Ako naman personally, I feel like kasi parang just by creating characters that are real and layered and have their own lives and parang, parang their identity is not just like the gay best friend, is not just, comic relief. Parang by creating these characters, you show all of these queer kids and queer people growing up na parang being gay or lesbian or transsexual does not automatically like have to mean for you na you have to fall into all of these different stereotypes. Na parang you are real, you are a unique person, you are somebody who parang alam mo yun, should not have any expectations put upon you by society. In creating characters like that through the series, parang yun yung talagang end goal here, Parang for somebody to watch it and be like, oh my God, that can be me. So, yan.
Kay Paolo po.
For me, I agree. The best thing that you could do, especially in my case, that I am a member of the community, so that's already something that parang a lot of them would be able to relate to come the time na parang they're able not to find out na parang to be interested in the series. So yeah, the main challenge talaga for me was to just make it as real as possible, to give a nuance, succinct, and not just a visual character, but a character that exists in a lot of, in not just one dimension, it's not just an archetype. So yun, for me, the best thing that I had offered for this project for the kids to know that this is possible for them is to make it as relatable as possible, because even though na hindi kami pare-pareho ng gusto, iba-iba kami. Yun, na iba-iba kami ng gusto, feelings are universal, so they would be able to relate to it either way. Kasi yun, totoo si Karl. Nakikita nila na may pagkakaiba sila, may pagkakapareho sila kay Karl, kay Vlad. At sa tingin ko, yun ang malaking magiging impact nito kung naggampanan ko yung tungkulin ko bilang ako.
Okay. Thank you po.
Thank you so much. Maraming salamat, RJ Matero of Lionheart TV. Thank you so much. Ang next naman na magtatanong ay walang iba kundi si Florencio Husay. Hi! Florencio.
Ayan. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Yes. Okay. Sige. My question would be for first kay Direct JP kasi would there be Easter eggs from other movies or your own movies na pinlace mo dito in some shots so they viewers can also look out for them?
Ayan. Sorry. Nawala ako. Mabilis. Ayan. Kung Easter eggs, marami. Yun na lang. Kaya yung sabi ko kanina, parang sobrang, nung bago kami mag-shoot, sobrang exciting on my part na mag-isip ng treatment for every episode ng Gaya sa Pelikula. And parang naisip ko, parang nung nabasok, nung finish kasi sa akin yung project, ang nakalagay doon ay tamang representation for LGBT stories. At kailangan, parang naisip ko, parang since yung title ay Gaya sa Pelikula, why not kumuha tayo ng mga memorable na mga eksena sa mga classic romantic comedies dito sa Pilipinas. Na kapag pinanood natin yung eksena na yon sa Gaya sa Pelikula, parang, uy, nakita ko yan sa sa LSS, ganyan. Na parang kapag meron kang, kapag na-sense nila yon, kapag napanood nila yon, parang okay na ako. Kasi parang na-normalize yon na pwede mangyari siya sa mga bakla. Na hindi lang siya posibleng mangyari kay John Lloyd at kay Bea, pwede siya mangyari kay Paolo at kay Ian. So yun, sobrang daming mga Easter eggs na mga mga eksena, mga frame, mga props. I think lumabas na to yung sa trailer, sa teaser pa lang namin. Yung parang may mga nag-tag sa amin sa social media, sa Twitter, ganyan na, uy, parang ano to, parang eksena sa She's Dating the Gangster. So may mga ganun. So marami pa silang makikita, mapapanood kapag pinanood nila yung kaya sa pelikula.
Okay, thank you. For JM naman, I would like to ask, since LGBT content is linked to a lot of sexual tensions, pero would you say that for this series, you toned it down to be on a more romantic angle, or do you still have some sexual tensions para to make the series interesting?
I'm gonna be honest na totoo na parang lagi na lang nililink sa kalibugan ng mga bakla. Pero hindi kami nakakulong sa ganun lang. Like, fine, sex is fun. Pero deserve din namin ng kilig. At kinikilig din kami. At ang dami nang lumabas na tungkol sa libog ng bakla na palabas at na pelikula. Pero hindi sapat yung sa kilig. Kaya gusto kong ibida yung sa kilig. Gusto namin ibida yung sa kilig. Kasi sa totoo lang, yun yung kulang sa amin. Yun yung kulang nung lumalaki ako. Sorry baka too much information. Pero I thought then na parang the only way, I thought then that the only way I could find love was, to involve myself physically with other men, because hindi ako nakakakita ng tungkol sa kilig ng tungkol sa mga kagaya ko So now, gaya sa pelikula, ibibida talaga namin yung kilig. Dahil deserve ng mga bakla na bata na kiligin. Yun yung kulang. Kaya yun yung ibibigay.
Ako, if I may add lang din, tama, sige, kasi ako, graduate ako from UP. Tapos, halos lahat ng mga nagagawang mga thesis films from UPFI are very controversial talaga. Kasi magaganda. At alam mo yun, parang lumaki ako nung pumasok ako sa industriya, ang madalas kong napapanood ng mga pelikula ay about na may LGBT content ay laging tragic. Laging namamatay sa HIV, o kaya, alam mo yun, parang laging tragic yung ending ng buhay nila. At hindi natin natatakel. Ano ba yung, kasi normal ang mga bakla. Normal ang mga tomboy, normal lahat. Normal ang mga lesbian, ang mga trans, normal sila. Nakakaramdam lang din sila ng kilig. Pero, yun yung sa sinabi ni Gaya na dito gusto namin itakil talaga. Gusto namin ipakita yung kilig. Pero, alam mo, parang kahit gusto namin ipakita yung kilig, gusto rin namin ipakita ano ba yung totoong struggles ng LGBT sa panahon ngayon. Na kahit nakakaramdam kami ng kilig, nakakaramdam pa rin kami ng takot, nakakaramdam pa rin tayo ng discrimination.
Yes.
So yun yung gusto namin ipakita dito sa Gaya sa pelikula.
Yeah. Love is universal guys. Don't get us wrong. Love is universal. Pero our love will always be connected to our struggle as a minority. So, totoo, parang all-encompassing ang pag-ibig. Lahat ng nararamdaman niyo tungkol sa pag-ibig, lahat ng kilig at sakit, nararamdaman din namin. Pero it's the struggle. It's sa pakikibaka ng LGBTQIA community. Doon nakaangkla yung pagkakaiba. Doon nagkakaiba ang ang pag-ibig ng isang heterosexual na tao kumpara sa pag-ibig ng bading. Because our love will always be connected to our struggle. Yun lang.
Okay, thank you. My last question go to the two actors. Tanong ko lang, in terms of, well, actually, ang una ko rin napansin is you share the same surname. Kaya nalilito ako, ano ba to?
Kasal.
Ang question ko is how, kaano kayo kasi 'di ba you're in quarantine, you taped in quarantine. Kaano karami yung kailangan nyo i-prepare? Let's say, do you have a lot of maleta para yung sa costume, mga outfit, iba-iba, tsaka ano pa yung mga dinala nyo to make sure na hindi naman kayo mababagot while taping this series?
Ito po, kunin ko po.
Hello.
And ito po, parang mga asa ba? Ayan, puro ito po, dinala ko po para di po ako mabagot sa series. Pero medyo di ko rin po nabasa dahil, ayun, dire-diretso po kami. Hindi ko po ganun kagamay yung script. So, yung script na lang po binasa ko. Yung po ba yung tanong? Paano anong ginawa mo para
yung mga, ano pa yung dala nyo bukod sa books? Ilang maleta ng damit ang dala?
Maleta? Ako, nagdala po ako ng printer ng mas malaki yung suitcase ko kay Ian, no? Ian?
Yeah. I mean, kasi, like, yung pina-prepare pa namin kasi, may 2 weeks pa yan bago mag-shoot para yung mga acting workshops, ganyan, studying the script, studying the character. So, isipin mo, yung 2 weeks na yun, para kasama pa ng shooting days. Like, ang haba-haba. Tapos, ang in-expect kasi namin is makakabalik pa kami sa bahay bago mag-shoot. Tapos, ganyan. So, yun, ang liit ng maletang dinala ko. To the point na pinag-laundry pa ako ni Gege. Love you, Gege!
Yun, naging one of the main challenges talaga siya, yung pagdadala ng mga gamit. Kasi may konti lang kami, so hindi naman makakabuti na lang malakas magbuhat yan si Ian. So natulungan ako. Kahit may mga weights, may mga libro, may school uniform ako, may mga sapatos. So yun, na-highlight talaga yung pagtutulungan ng mga people and the cast and crew and production. Amazing, fantastic, beautiful. At saka ano po ulit yung magka-apelido kami?
Yung last name. Kasi parang sounds, di ba, Pangilinan something.
In fairness naman, actually, parang sobrang appreciative namin sa fans. Kasi parang may mga comments sila minsan na i-like nyo na to para tumaas yung comment na to, hindi po sila relate.
Nilike ko na rin.
So, love you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Pero, grabe.
Just with the tone of finality, hindi po kami related, 'di ba? Pinsan, hindi po anak ng pinsan ng hari. So, yun.
Yeah.
Kasal daw kayo, sabi sa YouTube.
Kasal daw.
Sana all.
Hindi pa legal eh. Guys, grabe yung mga nagsasabi na So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng mga magkamag-anak, si Candy Pangilinan, si Rochelle Pangilinan, si Michael Pangilinan, si Kiko Pangilinan, lahat ba sila isang pamilya?
Look at the participants in this call. Like, there's common surnames, Vergara, Santos. Diba? Like, Pangilinan is such a common surname. I don't know. Candy, Rochelle. Sana related daw kay Rochelle as a sex bomb.
Totoo ba dito si Charot, Donnie Pangilinan, charot lang. Meron ka ba bang question, Florencio Husay? Thank you so much. Of course, our next set of questions will come from Chicanas Avenue, Albert Abelido. Hi, Albert.
Hey, mabuhay.
Hi.
Congratulations po. Yung first set of questions for Gege. Kasi hindi naman madi-deny na you're very outspoken with regards to how the government is being run and on other issues. Will we see that kind of Gege in this series na yung mga may political points na kailangan i-address? Or this merely will revolve about LGBTQ?
Here and there, merong mga ilang commentaries, pero hindi pa siya as extensive as I'd want. Because, for this, hindi siya kasing extensive. But there are hints here and there na Karl and Vlad are aware of what's happening outside. Pero, or of the bigger fight outside. But since the series is about, basically, we created a dream world inside an apartment. um, things outside are not yet as touched upon as what I would usually do as an activist. So yeah, yun yung sagot ko.
Okay. And as part of the LGBTQ community, are there certain issues na you are not comfortable talking about?
Yeah, meron talaga. If it's about the transgender experience, because that's not a lived experience of mine, I am not the right person to tell that story. Tag dito, and lesbians too, even tag dito, and there are certain nuances about the experiences of effeminate gay men that I may not be able to write as, you know, as accurately as I would like, because that's not my experience. And yung, I guess, of course, as a writer, it's a responsibility to be to have empathy towards the story of others. But like I said, masyado tayong maraming mga LGBTQIA creatives sa Pilipinas. And kapag may pagkakataon na sila ang magkwento ng sarili nilang karanasan, dapat ibigay natin sa kanila yung pagkakataon na yun sa parehong paraan na ibinigay sa akin ng Globe Studios, ang pagkakataon na magkwento ng tungkol sa karanasan ng isang batang bakla. Pero yun, yung mga may ilang kwento na ng komunidad na hindi ako yung tama na magkwento. Kahit gaano ko sila kamahal. Kung meron namang mas akmang boses na magkwento ng kwento nila, dapat ipasa ko sa kanila yung pagkakataon. Yun yung sinasabi ko rito rin na our goal here, kaya yung sinabi sa akin ni Kren na sana iangat natin yung ibang mga series. I really appreciated that because it's true. Now, we don't, us here, wala kaming monopolyo ng karanasan ng mga bakla. Kaya kailangan panoorin natin yung iba. Imagine the entire queer experience is this huge elephant and lahat tayo ay nakatakip ang mata at hahawakan natin yung isang bahagi lang ng katawan niya. Ganun lang kami. We cannot possibly cover all the issues, all the experiences of the LGBTQIA community because we are just one series. Kaya importante na dumami yung ganito para mas mabuksan yung mga mata natin sa mas marami pang kwento na mga kaibigan natin sa LGBTQIA. Salamat!
And personally, Gege, how important for you is coming out?
I honestly did not have my own coming out party. Pero importante sa akin ang ownership of who you are, of asserting your right to be here. It doesn't necessarily have to mean na kailangan mong i-announce na bakla ka, na lesbiana ka o anuman. Kasi ang totoong goal dito ay maging pantay-pantay na talaga ang lahat, na hindi ka nahuhusgahan para sa sexual orientation at gender identity and expression mo. To the point na wala nang magka-come out kasi hindi na siya nagmamatter. Dahil kung ano ang pagtrato mo sa iba ay hindi dapat nakabase sa sexual orientation, sa SOGI niya. Kaya nga, on that note, gusto ko lang pong sabihin na please pass the anti-discrimination bill. It's about time. Ang tagal-tagal na po. Anyway, so yun yung goal. Yeah, ang totoong goal dito ay hindi mag-come out ang mga bakla. In the long run, ang pinaka-goal natin ay hindi nakakailanganin mag-come out ng kahit sino dahil kahit ano ka pa, hindi ka itatrato ng iba. Ganun, pantay-pantay ang karapatan ng kahit sino. Ayun po.
And last na lang, how's the reaction of Catherine, yung mga barkada mo na you're coming up with this kind of story?
Yung mga barkada sa showbiz ay supportive naman. Tapos, si Catherine may utang pa sa akin IG story. Sabi niya, i-IG story niya to. Text ko nga mamaya. Pero, ayun, busy rin kasi siya. Pero, ayan, very supportive po yung mga friends ko dito. Especially na yung mga katrabaho rin namin ay mga naging friends na rin nila behind the scenes. Ayan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Next question naman po is for Ian, Adrian, and Paolo. Ayan. So, yung question ko is, ano yung sana ninyo with regards to your love life na sana ganun din sa pelikula?
As in like Gaya, like yung love life ko Gaya sa pelikula, not necessarily like this series. Parang ganun. Okay.
Yes.
Ako kasi personally parang I don't want to admit it, pero I'm like a sort of hopeless romantic. As in romantic talaga ako, promise. Like there's this really nice movie that is criticized sometimes for being really cheesy. It's called About Time. Si Rachel McAdams yon and si Domo Gleason. I love that guy. Galing niya umarte. And like for me, it's like parang people are saying na parang ang ano naman ang sentimental na to, ganyan. I want real love, ganyan. I want dirty stuff. Tapos parang ako, but is it so wrong to want like something super parang pure and like cute na walang bahid ng parang all of these jaded notions of like what love is, na parang hindi mag-cheat yan or hindi, parang walang forever, ganyan. Kasi parang it's so ingrained in our Filipino society na parang walang forever, ganyan. Tapos pag may happy na couple, parang edi kayo na. Yung gano'n yung culture. And yun, parang if I were to answer the question, yung ganong kind of love is something I secretly want. Yun.
Okay. Thank you. Adrian.
Actually, kanina pa ako nag-iisip anong pwedeng pelikula. Pero, sa tinagal ko po sa Planet Earth, marami na rin po ako na-encounter ng mga palaka. Charing! Hindi naman. Natuto naman ako sa kanila. They serve their purpose. Charing. Pero, sa ngayon kasi, I think, naisa sa buhay ko na yung kung ano mang gusto kong maging pelikula.
Wow.
Kasi meron akong kasintahan na parang nag-make sense lahat ng dumating na mga naging boylet. Yung mga ayun, parang nag-make sense. Parang all the more na meron kang na-encounter na someone tapos hindi nag-work. Tapos paglaon, mamimit mo yung isang tao, tapos marirealize mo, kaya pala hindi nag-work sa kanila kasi nasa kanya na. So, hello po sa aking kasintahan. Si Severro.
So, tama lang na nawala yung mga ex mo, no?
Opo. Okay lang.
Thank you. How about you, Paolo?
Grabe naman po yung mga tanong, Sir Albert Brian. Mapupusok.
Where's Paolo?
Ay, hello.
Hindi siya sa taas.
Can you hear me? Hello, is this better?
Ayan!
I just like to ask, ayun, for me, anong meron sa Gaya sa pelikula na sana meron din sa love life ko? Sana meron. Joke lang.
Ayan, parang may announcement na rin na
meron,
for somebody ka na.
Hindi, joke lang. Para sa akin, parang sobrang magkalayo kasi namin talaga ni Karl. Marami kaming feelings, marami kami mga situations na pinagdaanan pareho na similar. Pero yung mga decision namin sa buhay sobrang iba. Ako kasi like so many prospects. Nag-MMK. For me, parang marami akong prospects na isinantabi para sa mga pangarap ko sa buhay. So, si Karl, parang sana meron din ako ng charm and innocence. Sorry. Maternal instinct ni Ate Judith. Tapos yung joke lang.
Paolo!
Ate Judith, yung ate ko dyan.
Paolo!
So, yun.
Maternal instinct.
Yun. Basta yun, sana po naging adventurous na lang ako gaya ni Direk. Well, yun lang yung sa akin. Sana parang like, sana meron.
May time pa naman. Carry pa.
Sana may.
Pwede pa mangyari yung sana. And last question ko sa inyo, Paolo and Ian. Now that you are part of this BL series, ganyan, and syempre yung tao, they're really seeing two male gender falling in love or about to fall in love, ganyan. So, how ready are you with regards to there might be fans or there might be people that might question your sexuality? Gaano kayo kahanda on that part?
I mean, ako naman, it's like, my God, like, do people still think it's an insult to be called gay? It's like 2020. Alam mo yun, parang it's like, let people be who they want to be. Parang, like, their lives are not yours to parang make a spectacle out of, you know? Parang it's not, parang, alam mo yun, just like let people love who they love. Parang, like, you don't need to know every single aspect about a person to, like, alam mo yun, appreciate them as a person. So, yeah.
Pero hindi naman aabot sa level na kailangan mong tuldukan yung tanong, yung parang ganon na.
Bahala sila sa buhay nila. Basta,
okay.
I'm just gonna do my work. Just gonna do my work.
Okay. Thank you.
For me, tapos na ba? Sorry.
Yes,
no, lang ako.
Hindi, for me naman, feeling ko, the mere fact that it's still asked is in itself problematic. Yun lang.
Okay.
Kasi feeling ko there are so many dimensions to a person irrelevant to their sexual orientation, gender identity, expression, sexual characteristics. So the mere fact that people are still asking about someone's sexual preferences or gender identity is in itself a step backwards towards the goals that I believe that I am trying to put forward as an actor in this project. Well, not just an actor, but just a plain human being who realizes that we should all be treated equally, the same, regardless of so many other things that, you know, for me yun talaga, na parang ang dami-daming dimension sa pagiging aktor, sa pagiging tao, sa pagiging professional, sa pagiging artista, sa pagiging katulad ako, sa pagiging student doctor, na hindi dapat nanggagaling sa ibang tao ang pagdidikta ng mga tanong regarding sa sexual orientation and identity. Dapat nanggagaling yan sa'yo kung gusto mong i-express yan. Kaya yun, kagaya na sabi ni Gege, sana dumating yung time na hindi mo na kailangan mag-come out dahil yung the world itself is already kind enough to accept you. So kasi the main thing about coming out is accepting some parts of yourself that some people would not be, you know, comfortable with. Prejudice, discrimination still exists. So for me talaga, more than anything about whether I'm ready to answer those questions, I'm more ready for those questions not to be asked anymore.
Okay.
Yes! Love it.
Gusto ko yung linyahan na yon. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Maraming
Good luck.
Okay, our next set of questions will come from Oreo Pontejos. Hi, Oreo.
Hi, Mars. Ko. 6 months din walang ganito. So, ang question ko first is for the two leads, for Paolo and Ian. For Paolo kasi he's from UP Pep, no? Tama? From the Pep Squad. And si Ian is from Tabing Ilog, the Tabing Ilog Municipal before. My question is, how was the transition from those things you did before, tapos ngayon mag-BBL series kayo?
Sige, I'll answer this na muna pa. For me, I mean, I guess mas malaki yung transition from theater to film than it is from Tabing Ilog to Gaya sa Pelikula, if that makes sense. Kasi whether the character naman is straight or gay or, you know, everything sa spectrum, parang at the core of it, what you're playing is a real person and parang walang bahid ng any stereotypes of what it means to be gay or straight. Parang that's what you're playing. So parang hindi nandun nanggaling yung difficulty ko. Para sa akin, yung translating from theater to film kasi, parang theater is very, may pagka needed na bigness, yeah? If that makes sense. Parang, kasi diba, your audience is an entire, audience section. So parang kailangan makita nila lahat ng ginagawa mo. So, talagang todo, kung kakanta ka, kanta yan. Tapos kung mag-acting ka, todo ano yan. And I guess yun yung pinaka na-appreciate ko sa film. Kasi, in transition to film, parang mas nakukuha ng film yung mga onting kindat, onting corrupt ng mata, which is something I loved playing around with and I loved experimenting with. So, yun. Go, Pao!
So yun, wala naman po akong acting experience na natutunan sa UP Pep Squad. So, natutunan ko. So yun, siguro, kasi, ano ba, syempre naging malaking transition sa akin, di ba? Galing from athlete to studying medicine and then eventually trying to become a legitimate actor. Pero for me, talagang matututunan mo lang talaga kasi pag naging atleta ka, especially pag sa UP ka, maging mapamaraan. Para sa akin, yun talaga pinakamalaking natutunan ko sa Pep Squad. Tsaka, wag ka lang talaga sumuko. Marami ka pang pwede matutunan sa buhay kapag hinayaan mo lang yung sarili mo na dalhin ka kung saan. So, for me, hindi naging balakid sa akin yung pagiging miyembro ko ng Pep Squad. Siguro, minsan, nakaganyan ako bago magsimula dahil parang like, nag-ready ako. Parang feeling ko magtatumbling ako bago mag-take, ganyan. Minsan, kailangan pa ako kausapin. Pero yun, simpleng yun lang natutunan ko sa UP Pep Squad. Maging mga pamaraan. Kasi kailangan mo yun bilang aktor na nakahanap ng mga maraming bagay na pagkukuhanan mo ng mga inspirasyon, ng mga triggers sa buhay ni Karl. So, yun. Maging maparaan, tsaka wag lang sumuko. Simple. Yun ang natutunan ko sa UP Pep Squad na madadala ko sa lahat ng bagay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
next question ko is, sa inyong dalawa pa din, yung character kasi ni Vlad at saka ni, what yun? Isang name, Vlad and the other character, they're both 19 years old. Looking back at your teenage years, nakarelate ba kayo dun sa mga characters na pinortray ninyo at some point?
Super. Alam mo,
You wanna do this first? Ikaw na muna.
Yeah. Ako, syempre, talagang like, sobrang lala kasi maging freshman sa UP. Kung taga-UP, di ba? Tapos si Karl, di ba, freshman siya, hindi ko alam kung siya nag-aaral, architecture student, ganun. Tapos gusto niya pa mag-shift. Ako rin kasi, for a time, gusto ko mag-shift kasi nasa sports, graduate ko, di ba, sports science. Tapos gusto ko talaga nun applied physics, ganyan. Atom Araulio. Yay, are you listening? Ayun, gusto ko. So, yun, yung mga ganong mga hinahangad sa buhay. Yun, kasi sobrang lahat naman tayo na naka-experience ng college life, nakita natin kung gaano kalaking culture shock siya, kung gaano kalaking talon siya mula sa kinalakan mo kasi kadalasan pareho kayong bago lang dun sa environment. Tapos maraming bagay sa buhay ko na katulong sa pag-iintindi ko kay Karl dahil naging freshman din ako na walang alam sa mga gagawin ko sa buhay. Tapos ako, like ngayon, rumarakit ako habang nag-aaral. Parang ganun si Karl, di ba? So, yun, naging madali sa akin tumalon sa ganung aspeto niya. Yung nararamdaman niya na marami siyang kailangan habulin. Tapos, marami din, tapos di ba, bago yung environment.
Sa akin naman, si Vlad kasi, without spoiling anything, is a very, marami siyang pangarap na kind of person. Marami siyang gustong ma-achieve sa buhay. Tapos ako naman, ganun na rin kasi talaga ako. I mean, growing up talaga, I always wanted my work to be my life, aka acting, aka making characters come to life. So, ganun na rin talaga yung chinanel kong fire in Vlad. Na as in, ano siya parang dahil marami siyang gustong ma-achieve sa buhay, kailangan niyang mag-put on ng brave at saka palaban na attitude. Na I think for a big chunk of my life, ginawa ko rin. Even as recent as yung audition ko kasi for Gaya sa Pelikula, parang parating kinakwenta sa akin ni Gege, hala, masyado kang nagpapakunwaring professional, ganyan. Tapos pakita mo naman yung totoong Ian behind that, ganyan. Kasi nga, alam mo yun, parang marami akong gustong ma-achieve di todo professional na para, alam mo yun. So, gano'n. I think doon ko pinaka nakaka-identify kung ano yung pareho namin ni Vlad.
Next question, kung kahit sino pwede sumagot. Kasi every time na may BL series na lumalabas, this past few months, laging may nagmumuna na, does BL series always require discreet or closeted males to portray the roles or the ones who will portray the character or the character itself?
Saan yan, Oreo? Anong BL yan? Charot lang.
Basta may nabasa ako, galit na galit sila. Bakit daw straight na naman yung gaganap?
Wait, kanino nga? Sino
Pwede,
ba sasagot?
go.
Pwedeng sabihin ko anong ano yan?
Hindi, ano po yung tanong ulit? Sorry.
Does it really matter na hindi, ano ba? Necessary ba na kapag ka BL series kailangan laging discreet yung character? Or at least yung magpo-portray or straight male yung magpo-portray? Ganon.
Okay. Maraming muka at maraming iba't ibang levels ng effeminacy and sa expression ng iba't ibang bakla. And for me, it's not a requirement. A genre is defined by the mga tropes na they employ, mga components na nagre-recur. Pero a genre, again, like I said earlier, can be revised and sometimes should be revised. So, for example, I don't think this is gonna be a spoiler because medyo malinaw naman sa trailer, but the character of Vlad is not closeted. He admits that he's gay and he's proud of it. So yun, may mga, at kahit naman sa Thailand may ibang mga series na bading yung mga characters. Like for example, sa Tharn type, si Tharn ay bading. Ganyan. Tapos, ano pa ba? JP, what else do you think? JP, may sasabihin si JP dyan.
Ako, paano ba? Siguro coming from I'm Drunk, I Love You, yan. Yun na lang siguro. Kasi may character ako doon, si Jason T, na bakla yung character. Pero ang nag-play sa kanya, si Dominic Rocco, na isang straight character. And ako naman ay wala ko nakikitang mali naman doon, personally. Kasi as long as siguro yung creator ng kwento ay naiintindihan yung pasikot-sikot sa mundo ng mga bakla at naranasan, naiintindihan yung lahat ng pagod, lahat ng struggle ng mga bakla, ay yun yung creator. Okay lang sa akin na ang mag-play ay straight basta maging genuine yung portrayal, inaral, yung kwento, yung character, at hindi siya basta gagawin caricature lang or alam mo yun na kakatawa na isang best friend lang na sounding board lagi or best friend na bakla para lang sumaya yung kwento, ganyan. Di ba sabi nila kapag parang lagyan natin ng baklayan para sumaya yung pelikula. Lagi ganun. Sobrang, kaya parang doon pa lang, parang kailangan matapos na tayo sa ganun. I mean, kailangan kailangan mabago na natin yung ganung notion sa mga bakla kapag nire-represent sila sa mainstream media. Kasi nakakapagod din. Alam mo, parang ano lang naman sa akin, merong visible yung LGBT sa mainstream media, pero hindi sila properly represented.
Yeah. And for me, dagdag ka lang dun sa sinabi ni JP, the reason why, yes, I agree na when we cast straight actors for gay roles, I believe that we should at least make sure na parang they understand the struggle. Parang they should be an ally first, because for you to become for you to portray a character as well as you should, I believe that you should not be able to judge your character. You should not judge your character, rather. So, at kapag magpe-play ka ng papel na bakla, huwag mong husgahan yung bakla na yun. May obligasyon ka na makita siya bilang totoong tao at hindi lang isang bilang archetype. Ngayon, kaya rin namin siguro pinupush as much as possible. We understand, of course, that sa lahat ng this goes out for every production companies out there. Na it gets trickier and trickier when you undergo the casting process. But the reason why it's so important for me to have people in the cast and crew proudly owning their sexual orientation and na talagang inaangkin yung pagkatao nila, yung pagiging bakla, lesbiana at anuman nila, is because we want queer kids to understand and to know na should they be brave enough sometime soon, hopefully, to live their truths out loud, that there will be opportunities waiting for them. I want them to know, kasi sa industriya natin ngayon, marami po ang, nung na-experience ko to during the casting, maraming mga membro ng LGBTQIA community ang natatakot na tumanggap ng mga gay roles dahil natakot sila ng stereotype doon at hindi na sila magkaroon ng iba pang trabaho. But by casting someone like Paolo, for example, who owns his his personhood ng buong buo, sexual orientation, etc., lahat ng aspects of himself. What we're telling people, younger people now, is that parang this na we want people to take, ang gusto kong maging take away nila ay na this person got this opportunity because of his queerness and not despite it. Nang sa ganun, mas magbabawasan yung takot nila na baka walang naghihintay sa aking future dahil lang bakla ako. Mali. Itong trabaho na to at napakasaya ako sa trabaho na to. Ganun din sila JP, etc. At marami pang miyembro ng aming team. Nakuha nila ang trabaho na to exactly because of their experience as members of the LGBTQIA community. And hopefully, pag nakita ng mga tao yun, ng mga bata especially, mas madali nilang matatanggap ang sarili nila. Kasi sometimes, and dapat lang, na who we are is celebrated. Yun.
Thank you po. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat, Oreo.
Thank you, Oreo.
Okay, guys. Our next set of questions will come from Bernard Santos. Hi, Bernard.
Yes, hello. Good evening sa lahat. My first question is for Mr. Juan Miguel Severo. My question is, yung sa Wattpad po na screenplay, ano po yung nauna niyong naisulat? Yung sa Wattpad or ito po, sa series?
Sabihin na lang natin na una kong nilabas yung sa Wattpad, not necessarily unang sinulat.
Okay. Pero parang hindi ba parang nagkaroon ng adjustment when you do the BL series? Kasi parang I heard na parang may narinig lang ako na feedback na maraming nanghihinayang na parang naging contained yung mga ilang eksena dito sa BL series because of the pandemic?
Actually, I'm going to address yung mga taong binasa yung buong Wattpad. Kapag binasa nyo yung buong series sa Wattpad, you will realize na Karl is an unreliable storyteller. And yung series sa Wattpad is taken from his perspective alone. But the series includes Vlad's perspective. So that's where it's different. Na parang, basta. Ayun lang, ayoko mag-spoil.
Thank you. Okay, and then question ko for Ian and Paolo. So, since na-mention na rin kanina several times na parang napaka-importante ng kilig dito sa BL series na to. So, my question is, paano nyo pinaghandaan na magiging natural or hindi pilit yung chemistry sa together for this series?
Ow!
Saka, for me, mahirap yung tanong na yun kasi simula pa lang komportable na ako kay Ian. So, kung yung kilig, like, initially, kinilig naman ako sa kanya. Nakita ko pa lang siya, oh my God, ganun, shook na ako, ganun. Pero syempre, gather, okay lang ako, ganun. So, yeah. So, hello, di ba? Ayan na nga. Yun, for me, mahirap talaga. Kasi, kahit sino naman, ganun yung, cutie pie. Ganun, so, yeah, madali lang talaga kiligin kay Ian. So, kung yun yung ibig sabihin ng chemistry, I think, sarado na yun. Kasi, ang mahirap para talaga sa akin na gawin ng mga eksena is pag di kami okay. Ganun. Kasi, in real life, mabilis kaming mag-usap sa mga bagay-bagay ng mga gusto namin gawin, sa kung paano namin aatakihin yung eksena. Pero pag nandun na, pag nag-aaway na kami, parang nahihiya ako na talagang itodo kasi parang okay naman kami. So parang like nagpe-pretend na lang ako na basta iniisip ko lang na ako talaga si Karl. Tapos parang galit talaga ako sa kanya. Yung mga gusin sa lababo, nagsasaing, tapos kung mga sarakala, di ba, nakakainis naman talaga yun. So, yun doon ko tinry magkaroon ng iba pang aspeto yung chemistry. Pero, madali talaga siya para sa akin.
How about you, Ian?
Ano naman, I mean, parang like I mentioned a while ago.
Parang ikaw yung lugi,
Kaya pinakuna kita. No, like I said a while ago, I mean, like, ano naman talaga si Pao eh. I really like spending time with Pao. Like, super dali niyang makasama, super nakakatuwa siyang makausap on set, nakakatuwa yung mga pinag-uusapan lang namin. Tapos, I mean, yun nga talaga, as in like, even outside yung character mismo, talagang good relationship kami ni Pao.
And then follow up na lang for the two leads then. Since BL series is kind of hit ngayon, may pressure ba sa inyong dalawa na parang na sana tangkilikin ng maraming tao tong series na to?
I mean, like, yes, there is that pressure na sana mapanood ng maraming tao, ganyan. Pero yung pinag-usapan kasi namin ni Gaya once upon a time, nung pareho kaming, sana maging successful to, is mahanap ng series na to ang audience na gusto niyang mahanap. Parang yung mga taong makakapanood nito na makakapag-identify ng sarili sa mga characters na to, i-share nila yun sa mga ibang tao na gusto nilang makita to. And parang maski sabihin na natin na hindi maging as wide yung net na makuha namin kumpara sa, for example, yung mga mainstream na ang rami-rami nilang pera, ang rami nilang connections para ma-promote yung show. Ang makukuha namin na audience dahil sa series na to, ang importante is it matters to them. And ako, personally, I'm very sure that it will. So, yun.
Okay. How about you, Paolo?
Well, ako kasi yung tipo ng consumer na kapag natuwa ako sa pinapanood ko, ulitin ko siya. Mga 1,000 views ako. So, tinry ko talaga na gawing quality talaga yung work muna bago ko isipin na i-promote to, like sana like di naman ako may-ari ng, 'di ba? Para like ako magpapasponsor at lahat niyan sa buong sangkalawakan para makita ng sambayan ng Pilipino at ng world at ng universe yung ginawa namin. So for me, yun, dun tinry ko talaga na ibuhos lahat muna dun sa trabaho. Ngayon naman, syempre kinakabahan ako kasi, pero ngayon parang maganda yung reception ng tao, 'di ba? Nakita ko 100,000 na yung views sa teaser, 100,000 na rin yung views sa trailer. Tapos yung pag nakita mo talaga kasi yung fan base, sobrang active nila, dedicated, and ang dami nilang pakulo, as in may sticker, may memes, may gifs. So nung initially, syempre kinakabahan ako, hala baka di bumenta, baka nanay ko lang yung manood. Baka siya lang yung magwa 1,000 na replay doon sa YouTube. So, ngayon naman, parang medyo ampante na ako na since, college group mates naman na yung mga magkakasama. Tapos Team UP. Oh, Team UP, yes! Ha! Iyan. Joke lang. Doon, kaya yan, malalampasan lahat ng mga problema. Yes. Let's sing Kumbaya. Yan, kakanta na tayo. Pero yun.
Okay, last na lang. Again, for the two. Since na-mention nyo yung parang reception nung nilabas yung trailer, ano na lang yung pinaka-memorable na compliment or feedback na nakuha nyo nung pinalabas yung trailer ng Gaya sa pelikula?
I think para sa akin, yung pinaka-compliment is naging hit yung mga things na hindi ko akalaing mag-hit. Parang tawang-tawa kami na naging hit yung Hi Neighbor. Kasi parang nung sinabi ko naman siya, ganun lang talaga ako magsalita. So parang kami sa team, akala namin yung magiging viral, yung si wala, ang raming different scenes na talagang akala namin yung ng mga tao. Tapos yun, bigla yun yung naging yung napagkatawa ng mga tao. So ako parang natuwa naman ako kasi parang thank you na natuwa kayo sa pagsalita ko. Thank you. Ayun, yun yung sa akin. Ikaw pa.
Ayun. Well, yeah, yung best comments sa trailer. Actually, ang dami yung mga friends ko na nag-message nga sa akin, natutuwa daw sila, ganyan. Yung lumabas kasi yung trailer, kakatapos lang namin mag-quiz ng mga, so di ko na-expect na parang gising pa yung mga tao, gano'n, kasi kakatapos lang nung lima nun, sunod-sunod. Tapos parang sunod-sunod din sila nag-message kahit akala ko tulog na sila, gano'n. So yun, malaking bagay sa akin na yung mga taong close sa akin ay natuwa dun sa ginawa ko. Tsaka meron nga isa na parang nagsabi, na yung jowa ng ate ko, since parang like ganto lang ako. Yan, chill lang, gano'n. Ang galing ko daw umarte. Yes! Yeah. Pero kasi, yung validation talaga kasi for me, as in, ang laking bagay sa akin pag nakikita ko yung mga reactors, yung mga reaction. Pinaka-striking for me was yung kay Reveal. Kasi ang cute nun. So yun, sa mga trailer reactions, pinapanood ko yun. Hindi lahat napanood ko, pero yun, napanood ko yung kay Rebel. Tsaka yung twins, ang cute nila. So yun yung mga favorite ko nakita sa mga kaganapan sa trailer, yung mga nag-react.
Alright, thank you guys. Congrats.
Thank you, Bernard. Maraming salamat for your questions. And of course, ito na, we are down to our last set of questions na manggagaling kay Kiko Esquadro ng Push.com. Hi, Kiko.
Hello po. Question ko po para po kay Sir Quark. Hello po.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Sir Quark. Ay, sir, siguro follow-up na lang po sa na-question ni MJ kanina. Siguro po, as a producer po, yung perspective niyo po as a producer, paano niyo po siguro matutulungan ang entertainment industry ngayon kung bagsak po talaga yung pagdating po sa film, tapos lahat po, more on digital na po talaga tayo. Paano po?
Actually, that is the question. Parang talaga, especially with yung closure ng ABS, yung loss of the franchise, yung non-renewal, parang ang laki na ng vacuum sa entertainment ngayon. And so, syempre ako, like, bilang isang super film enthusiast, but ito ata yung longest time in my life na di ako nakapasok sa movie theater. Except maybe yung age 0 to 3 years old. Pero as in every week, nanonood talaga ng sine and everything. So, I guess, yung beginning of the quarantine, medyo, kami sa Globe Studios, like, very gung-ho na, hindi, babalik yung cinemas, we were gonna keep making films, and then na-realize namin slowly na, shit, parang kailangan natang baguhin talaga yung model of storytelling. So, we looked deep in our hearts and thought what really matters to us. And sa Globe Studios naman talaga, I think from the very beginning, yung yung mission is to really tell, to really empower very talented filmmakers to tell the stories they want to tell. No? So when Gaya pitched this to us, we were working on another TV series na yun nga, that sana if maybe yung quarantine didn't happen could have happened, but at least yun, I mean, instantly naramdaman namin na okay, wow, this is coming from a really deep place, and this is a story that has to be told. So yun, I think in that sense, maybe in the coming year you can expect more of this from us, yung shorter stuff, or yung and then another element of that, I have to shameless plug, is podcasting. At today na-announce na Gaya's podcast is now a Spotify exclusive, which is also a Globe Studios.
Yay! Thank you!
Congratulations! Woohoo! So yun, by end of the day, just try to find stories you want to tell. Diba? Yun yung, I mean, try to find new ways of telling the stories you want to tell. Yun.
And Sir Quark, mayroon po bang parang collaborations with the government, FDCP, and other organizations with private organizations patulad po sa inyo po? May nag-reach out po ba kung paano po magtutulungan?
Ay, yung MMFF, I think we're trying to find new ways na, especially since Globe, diba? I mean, yun yung naman yung thrust ng Globe itself na, sige, bring the digital lifestyle to Filipinos everywhere. So may konting interfacing naman with stuff like MMDA, FDCP to yun nga, push cinema and take it other places, diba?
Okay, maraming salamat po. Thank you po.
Thanks.
Congratulations po.
Thank you so much, maraming salamat, Kiko. Pero may